Of Trade Unions is forging ahead with its planned national shutdown on Wednesday. It is in response to the amendments to the labour law and the recent VAT increase. Meanwhile, the bus strike continues after wage negotiations deadlocked on Friday. Unions are rejecting an offer of 7%. They want 12%. The Secretary General of the South African Federation of Trade Unions, Zwelinzima Vavi, spoke to SABC News earlier tonight.
We expect millions of workers to back our one-day strike. It's a fully protected strike. Every worker, whether they are whether they are members of SAFTU or any other union, or not even a member of any union, are fully protected. They can participate in the strike. No employer can take any decision against them to victimize or to make them pay for backing the demands that we are putting forward, unless you are part of the essential services as declared by a bargaining council where you are employed, or you are part of the maintenance services. But if you're not falling part of those two categories, you are protected, and we call on workers back your strike action. We believe that this strike action on Wednesday is perhaps the most important strike we've ever had as unions since the dawn of democracy, because it's a strike about protecting the constitutionally guaranteed right of workers to strike. The amendments that have been signed in deadlocked by business, government, and the unions that have been captured represent the most fatal or fatal attack on the rights of workers to strike. It's going to take it away. It's going to make it almost impossible for any strike to be ever protected in line with the law. They want to secretly ballot members. They want to introduce balloting rules that which you cannot go on strike unless they have been signed off by the commissioner. They want to extend the period of conciliation by 5 more days to make it 35 days. And they want to introduce something they call the advisory arbitration, which, if you do not engage with what they say following a complaint by any employer or any member of the public to the CCMA that the strike is taking too long and or it is having a huge impact on the firm or the economy, that commission can rule the strike unprotected. We think that
but it does appear that the rights of the millions of South Africans, that's the commuters, are not being addressed here.
There's separate issues. There's a strike right now of bus drivers, and you have to agree that their demands are legitimate. They're earning peanuts if you compare to the critical role that they play in propelling and in giving oil and into turning the wheels of this economy. And that's why we're calling on all of the passengers. Please understand that this is a battle that has to be fought and that has to be won with their backing. We know that they are hugely inconvenienced at this particular point, but we're calling on them to continue to make alternative means. I mean, where do you get this? These employers want to continue to act outside the law. We're saying that at least respect the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. For example, the night shift must start at 6 o'clock until 6 o'clock the next day. That's what the Basic Conditions of Employment Act prescribe. We're saying that when a worker goes many days away from home, and it has to be that that worker is properly remunerated. This thing that when you are off the wheel, you are not given overtime on the basis that you are off, even though you are still in the bus in the middle of nowhere in any part of the country, is something that mustn't be tolerated going forward.
Okay. Quickly outline the issues
the subsistence allowance of 500 rand to given to workers away from home to sleep in the places of their choice. Tell me which hotel cost 500 rands. What can you eat from 500 rands in a night in any part of the Republic? So the demands that the bus drivers are pushing are absolutely legitimate.